It's a really cloudy day today. I'm sorry for a little bit if it's darker. It's just a really cloudy day today. Anyway, I'm Brian. This is Watch Complications. Thanks for joining me. This is an entry in my Making Custom Watches series, so I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to show you sort of a look at the final prototypes for the watches I've been working on, and I'll also show you some of the parts for another model in this series, which I'm calling Pool of Tears. For those of you who've watched some of my stuff or familiar with my site and everything, know that my Nano brand 10.6 is derived from Alice in Wonderland. I've got a Tea Party series. I have this new series called Pool of Tears. But anyway, in this series, you've seen me working on a black dial and a blue dial. And I've got a couple other ideas that I'm putting together, so I'll show you those as well. And then also, I just want to say, this series has been called Making Custom Watches. I want to remind everyone that that is a very broad term. I'm using it in a broad way, custom watches. To some people, that might mean making an entire watch from scratch, machining your own parts, putting the movement together. For a lot of people, even a lot of micro brands, they're not making in-house movements and things like that. They're buying movements off the shelf from, different Swiss manufacturers or Chinese or Japanese manufacturers. And then you've got all the way to the other end of the spectrum where you just basically going to a parts bin, whether that's an online distributor or eBay, whatever, taking some components and just putting them together into sort of just a design that you think is nice. So just as a general reminder to everybody, as you're watching different things across my channel or looking at my content, that I do a little bit of everything from what I've done with these prototypes, where I'm only putting my logo on a pre-made dial and just a bunch of random parts I bought from different places, putting them together, to more sophisticated things like in my Making Custom Dials series, where with like the GMT Blue project or the Dual Time project, where I basically start with a brass blank and I do everything from the base coat to getting steel clichés made and the laser etching and pad printing and hand applying loom, much more sort of sophisticated work. So just keep that in mind as you're watching different stuff on the channel, that I use sort of this term custom watches is sort of a very broad term. Duh. And since this is a custom watch video, of course I'm wearing one of my custom watches today, although, like I said, it was kind of a sort of a rainy, cloudy day, and I'm sort of really dressed down and wearing a Lucky shirt. But when I'm very casual like this, I like wearing glass 42. And again, glass, as in through the looking glass, 10.6. That's one of my favorite watches just to throw on and wear. Nothing particularly sophisticated. It's a Swiss Soletta movement in it, and just no dial, just put on a pair of hands, nice case. I might say more about these in some future videos. I'm playing around with different ideas about like directly pad printing on the movement holders and stuff like that, markers, and doing different weird things with loom on these. So yeah, this is glass 42. You can see it there. It's just a simple, beautiful watch, analog face, see the movement, both sides. And it's on a Cardi silicone rubber strap. I have a review of these on my website. They're actually pretty good, cheap. Get them on Amazon, but I'll put the link in the description below. If you haven't subscribed, why not? What's keeping you from it? Do it. It's the right thing to do. And you can also follow me on Instagram at watch_complications. But importantly, just check out the blog, watchcomplications.com. There is going to be a blog post to accompany this where I'll have a bunch of pictures of this series, the Pool of Tears, and I will link that in the description below and in the video, and so you can go look at that if you want. All right, at the end of the last video, you got to look at these after we put them together, finished casing them, but now I've removed the stickers so you can get a better look at the dials. Again, this is what I'm calling Pool of Tears, these models, this series, which is derived from Alice in Wonderland Chapter 2, where Alice, the whole eat me, drink me thing, she starts to drown, falls into a bottle, etc. But anyway, these are, as a reminder, pre-made dials. I didn't, custom make these in any way. I did put my logo, which usually has the hat and the 10.6 together. But for this, I decided, just sort of as a unique touch, I would put the hat up at 12 by itself and then put the 10.6 on this small second sub-dial. I've played around with different hands and thought about different hands. I had a whole variety that I, tried different looks on. And I've gone with sort of a feathered look on this black one, no loom, but feathered hands, and then sort of a sport look with loom on the blue. Of course, if someone was to want one of these, I could always interchange any particular sort of hands or look you want. On the Tea Party series, I use sort of what's a classic fancy hand style. But these hands, I think, show you some good variety. I'll show you another. I think the feathered look is my favorite, though. It just really goes with the style a little bit better. I'll show you the rose gold version here in a second that I'm gonna add to this as another model. So this is what they look like. Again, these are currently, for these prototypes, these are, you know, low-end Chinese-made movements that are akin to the ETA 6497. 98 has the small second at 6. The 6497 has the small second at 9 o'clock. But these are like, you know, 20 or 30 bucks, you know, for the movement. And you know what? They keep reasonable time. They're not the worst thing. They are a little bit on the lower end when it comes to power reserve. Not a lot of stress when working with these particular movements. If someone wanted, you know, an actual Swiss movement in this, it's going to cost about $200 more just because the cost of the movement. But this is a prototype, right? The proof of concept of what I want the watch to look like. So this gives you an idea of exactly what the design will look like. The movement might look a little bit different, you know, if it's a different model, but this is what it is. So this is the black one. I really like this design, this look. See, these sort of have sort of a pilot looks in terms of the strap, leather strap on it. The buckle is brushed as well, which matches the brushed on the side of the case. Remember, we've got the cushion ring in there that's helping keep the movement in place. In terms of putting this together and the customizations, of course, you've got the hands that you can make whatever you want, the logo that I've applied. You do have to cut the stem to size. The stems are a little bit too long than what you need. So you got to have a stem cutter. And then, of course, there's the custom spacer ring. You can kind of see it in there, the white down there. Yep. So that's the black one. And then, of course, hey, there's glass 42 on that Cardi silicone strap. Love that. The sport model, of course, has the loom. The only thing about that one is that, you know, the small second hand's just a hair too long, longer than I would like, but it is what it is. It looks good. And you can see loom shots of this on the blog post on Watch Complications. So one thing to note about the black case, and you'll see it on the rose gold case here in a sec as well, is that the case back is the chrome / silver / white, you know, all those different terms are used. It's just the, you know, sort of just regular stainless steel look. So it's not black to match, which is fine. You know, that's against the wrist anyway. So those are the final prototypes. Hope you enjoyed watching me put them together. Now, a couple other things I'm working on for this series is a couple other versions and playing around with the dials. So this is a rose gold version. So you can see it's the same case, ordered from the same Chinese seller. And you can see the case back is stainless steel color as well. So these are plated. The black and the rose gold are plated. I like the brushed look on the regular stainless steel one. Now these are all sort of a lower grade stainless steel, but they are stainless steel. I hope the plating lasts for a good length of time on these. Should. You can see here's a dial to match that. It's going to look great. So another model in the series. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put my logo as, you know, rose gold / sort of a copper look, or if I want to stick with the stainless steel color. Again, the case back does match it, but this dial has sort of a creaminess about it in terms of the tone. It's not like a bright white. And then I have feathered hands to match. So this is more akin to the feathered hands on the black and white version that I've got over here. I do like this sort of feathered hand look a little bit better. But that's another model that I'm going to piece together. I'll show you that in pictures of that at some point. And then I'm going to do another one. This one is a bright white. By the way, in terms of custom dials and custom dial making, this was a blue dial. This was the same dial that's in this blue-black combo here, and I removed the paint. What's interesting is I was testing also, I had my logo on here. Now, since this is a guilloche dial, the logo doesn't stick extremely well, enough to, nothing else is going to move it off of here unless you just really apply a lot of pressure, but the thinner did remove it, so I'll put a new logo, hat logo up here, but this adhesive is pretty good on these logos I have machined and made in Hong Kong because it stayed on there even after being wiped multiple times with paint thinner. So you can see this is a bright white look. You can still see the minute markers there. It looks really good actually. So you can do a lot of things and make even, you know, pre-made dials
your own. And again, that use of the word custom watches, this is, you know, just one example of that, where I've taken a base from something else and altered the color. I was also testing sort of a distressed look, but I don't think I'm going to do that for this series. I'll keep it as these really crisp colors, this like deep shade of blue, the black that's got a lot of character to it, this sort of bright white silver look, and then the rose gold. So that's my Pool of Tears series. Hopefully again you're enjoying that, and you'll see more about this in the future on my website or in videos. Okay, now I play with lots of different movements. Here's another variation of these 6497s. Well, if you're going to talk about the Chinese version, you talk about ST36 and the 3600 series. ST, whether they're Seagull manufactured or not. You see this one, the components here around the escapement are a little bit different, but other than that, it's very similar to the other version over here. But these are all, you know, Chinese manufactured. These are cheap and easy to work with when mucking around with prototypes. Something else I've got that I just want to show, because we're here talking about parts and stuff like that. I'm about to talk about tools. So I have this glass parallel, that's the name of it, but it uses again a Chinese manufacturer movement, and these are, you know, you can find them in stock at different places, but not all too often, not high quantities. But this is, again, glass parallel is what the name of this is. I have my 3D printed custom movement holder in here. Again, that's something I designed in AutoCAD and printed to hold it, because this movement is not meant to go in this case. And I also removed the rotor on it so it would fit in the case, because it's a little bit thick. But here's another variant of that. This is the CH, this is a DG. It's a CH8051, which is the same movement, but it has more complications built into it. The 24-hour wheel, and you can see we've got this hand over here for another complication. So this is a fun test. I'm going to put this in some watches. This will be highlighted in future videos of my making custom watches, and maybe making custom dials, because I'm going to make some sort of custom 3D printed dial for that, I think. So that's a little bit about what's going on in my custom watch world.
Now, just because I finished these prototypes doesn't mean there aren't going to be any more videos in the Making Custom Watches series. Of course not. I'm going to keep this going. I make watches sort of on a rolling basis. You saw some of the movements that I've got sort of in the back, ready to go into things and experiment with. There will be plenty more videos in the future as I come up with my own ideas and work on prototypes, and also make watches for different clients. So plenty of videos coming along in this series, and dials and reviews and everything else. So again, as always, thank you to all my subscribers. I'm really glad that people are finding this entertaining, informational, and I love sharing and tinkering with watches. Share out the videos, make comments. Again, if you haven't subscribed, think about it. So for some things that are coming up on the channel in the near future, I think I'm going to get some strap reviews in. I think I'm going to talk about my watch boxes. I think they're wonderful, great deal. So I'm going to have some reviews kind of like that. Of course, there will be more watch reviews and lots of good making custom watches and dial stuff. So thanks again so much for everyone being around. I'm Brian. This is Watch Complications.